All right, ladies and gentlemen, I just saw the final episode of Krypton, going in my bed to sleep, and I decided to do this quick, short stream. And the final episode ends. Most of the episode was fantastic, but it ends in a rather strange and weird and warped way, in which I think it's anticlimactic. I think the whole season has been fantastic up to the point up to the point where the ending of the season finale is just a downer. Um, the whole purpose behind even watching Krypton is because of, as they would, we were following the story of Superman, how the relevance of Krypton applies to Superman. And while the timeline has changed and all of that with Krypton here, I just find it very disappointing how the season ends. And it ends off on a, I mean, they have been changing the plot and story, and we could learn a lot about Nissa Vex. She's a clone and so much more. And they tied together so many nice things. And then I think they just ruined it with the ending. So that's what it is. Why would I be interested in Krypton if it has absolutely no relevance to Superman? And they even go on to do their intro saying, the House of El symbol, the House of Hope. All of a sudden, that symbol's gone, and now we have Zod. And it's just really, to me, it's kind of like you just threw away everything you were building up to. Because remember, Segel was narrating to Kal-El about, in the beginning, about this is how the story goes. And so I think how you end off the season, you should actually end it off on a mirror image of what you began it with. Otherwise, it's like you just threw away that. And even though Segel's in the Phantom Zone, and I'm guessing everything else is reversible, just like with Val and so on, I just think it's so flippantly ends that it's almost like, feels like they did a great story and they ran out of ideas and they said, okay, this is how we carry on Krypton for season 2. Val-El will now lead the resistance along with his longtime friend, who's now known as Jax-Ur, and Nissa Vex. This is what it looks like it's going on to be. And it's kind of like the Empire, like from Star Wars, where now Zod, who is actually Segel and Lyta Zod's son, he's ruling Kandor. It's good that Kandor is saved, but I find it really, I gotta admit, it's kind of out there and really dumb how they kind of end off the series. It almost feels like a lack of ideas there. So that's my input on it. If you want to just chat on this very quickly, the chat section's right across there, so you can always chat in the chat section about that and your views of watching the last episode of Krypton season 1 finale. But I found it was somewhat it's really just the very end of it. I have other pet peeves. Brainiac didn't look like Brainiac. He kind of looked as if somebody slapped on some Play-Doh on a guy's face. And Doomsday, of course, Doomsday is now freed. And so, remember, he was supposed to be freed, so he's getting freed from wherever he was. The problem with that is, when I look at Doomsday when he's breaking free, it looks like, again, CGI. They kind of get cheap CGI finally in this final episode. It's kind of sad because they really kept a pretty decent standard throughout the series. I mean, for television, it was pretty good. And then the CG of Doomsday, he looks good, don't mind you, but the movement is the movement has much to be desired. Okay. So season 1 finale for me was a little bit of a downer, especially, well, it was a downer. Actually, I watched it. I was like, what the heck? What? No more Superman. So what? It just like, it feels to me very, just the ending parts ruined that build up for the season finale. I think it ruined it, in my opinion. And that's sad because it was the season's going very well. I like how they talk about, recycling and processing and how that had a significance to Man of Steel. And then all of a sudden, and I have no problem with the timeline changing. And we even know now where Adam Strange is. He's on Earth, but he's on Earth that has been invaded by Brainiac. And Earth seems to have been put, at least the city of Earth, into one of Brainiac's things, but then it looks like Brainiac's done for. I don't know what to say. Um, there's a lot of there's interesting things about this episode, and it was going really well in my opinion until they just dropped the bar on the ending. It's incredible, but I guess that's how these things go. I don't know if Jeff Johns was responsible for that ending, because that ending is just, it's like, what? And it's almost like, it feels like a parody that, oh, now we're going on. When we talk about Krypton, we're going to be seeing the Zod symbol. And it's like, who cares about Zod like that? We don't care about Zod like that. Krypton was began with, the S symbol. I think that was a dumb choice by someone. I don't know who said, oh, this is a great idea to end Krypton with Zod now running things. And I'm like, okay, but why do you get rid of the S symbol? Okay, I understand the timeline changed, but why do you get rid of it? So I just totally sucked all my enthusiasm about Krypton out right there. And I don't know who thought that was a bright idea. That's not a bright idea. It is what it is. So I just wanted to speak on that, because it's like, you got a fantastic thing, it's building and everything, and then all of a sudden you kind of just drop the you drop what do we call the thing? You drop the whatever. I forgot what you call it. The drop the whatever. You slipped up on the last part of Krypton, and that's the only thing I got to say about Krypton. But I did enjoy the season throughout, up to that point. Up to that point, it was great and everything, and there's nice little twists and turns, and it does get very messed up to some degree, but I enjoyed the twists, the turns, and so on in the story. Then all of a sudden this. So I don't know how many people are interested in Krypton after this, and it's a pity, because the season really went well. I was really drawn into Krypton. I was really biting into it, and I don't know if season 2 will even live up to what season 1 did up to that point. Of course, Brainiac did not look. I mean, people will gloat and say that looked like Brainiac, and I'm like, no, that didn't look like Brainiac. The Brainiac that we saw, that was featured for us, is inconsistent with the Brainiac we saw finally in these last 3 episodes. But looks and stuff aside, the storyline for Krypton for this season was really, really good. There were some parts of it that were really crappy, but for the most part, and it was very good for a television series, especially. It was very good up to that moment where he gets rid of the Phantom Zone projector, and he wants to run things. And the weird thing about it is Zod knows where the Fortress of Solitude is, so I just don't get it. I mean, why would he have Val-El sitting down in the fortress rebuilding things and stuff like that? Because Val-El, obviously, you saw he rebuilt the projector. So I don't know what's really actually going on there. I'm pretty sure they're going to pull back Seg-El. I think they're trying to get our interest that the timeline has been changed, so they have Zod's symbol now. The hope, the symbol of hope is gone and stuff. I think they were trying to build it and end it on a sort of cliffhanger-ish sort of ending, but that failed. That's like a major fail right there. If you want people to lose their enthusiasm on Krypton, you just did it. You just killed everything. All the suspense and everything you're building up to, you just killed it with that one dumb choice. Here's what it is. I mean, I was really looking forward to the season finale. I enjoyed it right up to that point, but I will go and rewatch it again and see how. And then they advertised for the next season 2, by talking about, we see Doomsday break out of his what was containing him, which is cool. But the thing that really got me was, they literally removed the symbol of the House of El. Which that's just, why are you doing that? Why do you have to do that? That's the dumb part. You don't, if you're going to advertise for season 2, you want to keep that House of El intact somehow, some way. No matter if Superman's cape changes or whatever, you want to preserve that House of El symbol. So I think that was just a dumb move on their part, in my opinion. I don't know about other people, but in my opinion, when I watched it, I was like, This whole thing was tied to the House of L. Why would you just kind of strip that away and then go, nobody cares about Krypton without Superman involved in there? And anybody telling you that they do care about Krypton without Superman in there, fine by them. But Adam Strange is there for a reason. We hear about the descendants of Segel. Um, the whole point behind it is the House of L carries on. So, in my opinion, if Segel's not there, obviously the House of L cannot carry on. And so it's just interesting how they're messing around with different things. And it's basically now we're in an alternate universe, an alternate outcome, an alternate reality. And it's interesting. That's what I'll say. But I don't think I'll watch Krypton season 2. I'm not enthusiastic. What am I enthusiastic to watch Krypton for now? There's no relevance to Superman. There's no relevance to anything. We don't know if Krypton will explode. I told a guy, we don't know if Krypton will explode. Well, it looks like Krypton did not explode because Kandor was saved. So what does that mean for the universe? Apparently, the universe is still captured by Brainiac, and apparently Brainiac survives Kandor and goes on to do some other things. So we'll see what happens maybe in Krypton season 2 if I'm interested. But I just lost. You wouldn't be surprised. One wrong move sometimes can suck the life out of something that was building up to something grand. It's weird because I may have to go and rewatch Krypton again to give it a fair shake. But this season finale, but it was great until you just, like I say, it was great until that moment where they decided to do this move and then promote it. I just find that not very smart because most people tune into Krypton because of Superman. And it was very interesting. And of course, there are all these loose threads all around. There's Giant Zod, there's her brother or cousin, I don't know which one. We got the Sithonites still around. We got Doomsday who's breaking free and he'll be on the loose. You could have kept the story with Superman, House of L. Okay, even if Zod, which is kind of crazy and out there how he's leading, why would Light Zod let him lead? And there's just too many variables there. But let's just say Zod leads out. You don't get rid of the House of L crest to promote season 2. That's what's keeping people watching the season, to see how this relates to Superman. So that's what you sold everybody on for the entire season, right? Adam Strange is telling you Superman, and even though we wanted to know relevance of that, now you just go and completely remove that and advertise it as, no, you don't do something stupid like that. I just that's my opinion on it. I don't know what other people think, but that's just my opinion on it. Anyway, 3 of you guys are watching this video right now. I can see. If you guys want to leave any comments in the chat section, please feel free to leave your comments right now. And I don't know if I'll watch Krypton season 2 because I know it sounds sad that, how you mean you won't watch season 2? Look how much stuff was in season 1. Yeah, but usually the first season's the best season, and then it goes downhill after that. And they really did excellently well building up season 1, but I don't know what happened. The climax was supposed to be something which in season 2, which still has us tethered, I think, to what season 1 was saying. The way how season 2 is going, it looks like it's going to be an alternative reality, and this is how they're going to play out Krypton with different realities, kind of like what they did with the Flash, where he uses the Speed Force and he goes and changes up the timeline. I don't think that'll work. I just don't think it'll work. I think people will be somewhat disgusted with that. So you might as well play it out, and even if it's an alternative reality, you at least tether it to Superman. They didn't do that. So I don't know what's going to happen with Krypton in season 2, but season 1 was a blast. I enjoyed most of the season. And just the only thing, I kind of forgave certain things that happened in the season that I didn't like. Season 2 is all about Brainiac. Season 1 was all about Brainiac coming to take Krypton, take Kandor, how they were going to solve this problem. And it went almost absolutely perfectly well, except for, I think, how they promote or they're going to promote season 2, and the ending wasn't strong. Let's just put it that way. It was not a strong ending for Krypton. And so, I mean, I may give it a chance next season. I really enjoyed this season. I don't know if next season could be better than this season. We were going show by show by show. Each show was good. It was getting better than the other. There was some parts in certain shows where I just did not dig it. I like that Adam Strange is somewhere on planet Earth, but planet Earth has been affected. And again, this makes sense because Adam Strange kind of affected the timeline by going back in time to affect Krypton, so that Krypton being affected now, my Brainiac having to withdraw from Krypton, whatever, that affects other things. So we'll see how everything turns out in the end. That was an interesting series, an interesting season. So that's all I got to say about Krypton for you guys that were watching. Those of you who like this video, you can always shout me out, at least say hi or hello. That's cool. It's late in the night. It's 11:42 p.m. You guys have a great one. I just wanted to give my immediate response to Krypton. I'll go back and watch the season 1 finale when it comes up online. I have a feed where it will be posted up online. As soon as it happens, I'll be able to watch it again. I think it'll be a rerun Thursday, tomorrow as well, or Saturday night. I can't remember, on Sci-Fi. But really enjoyed Krypton up to that point. So, yeah, you guys have a good one. Shout out to you guys. If you want to donate to this channel, remember you can always send a message to me, Western Union MoneyGram. That's where I get paid. So let me know. You guys have a great one.